What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. We have a buyout that's gone under the radar, at least here, and it's a pretty quiet one. We have Silent Burning from Duelist Pack Rivals of the Pharaoh, as well as Silent Sword Slash. If you're a YouTuber and you say that too fast, you gotta re-record your video because it just slurs all together and you But seriously, when it comes down to it, these are interesting cards because once in the graveyard, without really this lengthy limiter, you get a search on top of a pretty decent effect. Now for this one, you might pog a bit, oh my gosh, up to 6 cards, but then you realize you need to be going second and have a battle phase and have restrictors that make this fair, and then you still get the search in main phase too, but you're trying to lock down your opponent to a degree, right? During the battle phase, if you control a Silent Magician monster and have more cards in your hand than your opponent, each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. Again, drawing to 6, oh my gosh, but you have to have more cards than the opponent for this to go down. This card's activation and effect cannot be negated. Now that's a pretty cool phrase that's on both cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Silent Magician monster from your deck to your hand. Now this is super useful because there's not, oh, you gotta do it next turn, the turn after cannot be activated same turn. None of that's there. You can immediately use that, and that's kind of neat. Silent Sword Slash is similar. Target 1 Silent Swordsman monster you control. That monster gains 1500 attack and defense, and if it does, until the end of this turn, it's unaffected by your opponent's card effect. So it becomes bigger and becomes a towers, and it already has that built-in resistance to certain cards being a silent card, but then it also says this card's activation and effect can't be negated. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Silent Swordsman monster from your deck to the hand. Now this can be activated pretty much in any window once you have a Silent Swordsman card on the field, and then you also search and you go further. The new cards are pretty decent. They're not going to be taking over the metagame or anything, and these each have only 1 printing out of Duelist Pack Rivals of the Pharaoh, which is infamous for creating very expensive cards over time. Thus, the seal's not going to repopulate these supers or anything anytime soon. You can see over the course of a year, it was at a low of like $1.50. New support gets announced in the OCG, it's like $3, and now it is just taking off as people go, yeah, I'd like that tech card. I'm going to be playing that. And a similar history here, except people actually did go into Silent Burning at one point. It came back down, bumped back up with new support, and here it absolutely goes crazy. So, goes to show, sometimes there's just things happening on the market that are actually pretty studyable, yet at the same time, a bunch of people miss them, including me on this one. Now, we had the conversation yesterday on Yu-Gi-Oh! Being investable or not, and a lot of people leaving. Well, shoutouts to the Mad Lads who did this one. Freaking Pharaoh rares. Now, the ultra Pharaoh rares on the TCG market they're joke prices. These are not to be taken seriously, even when they get ridiculous sales, because you can go look at Card Market and you can see they're significantly lower. In fact, I think I screenshotted some in the 200s for English yesterday, but those have been pulled or sold, but they're not sold on the graph, and you can see the sales were around 130, and those are just recently over 100. So it is getting noticed on the European market after things happen on the US market, but Pharaoh rares, they're unlikely to be emulated soon. Could Konami do an Unlimited Magnificent Mavens at some point? Sure, they absolutely could. How would that affect the first edition stamp? Maybe not all that much. So we see Dark Magician Girl and Blue Eyes getting recent buyouts. You can see the Blue Eyes had absolutely fallen over time, and somebody said, now's my chance, I'm going to go in, and this went up like crazy. You can even see the sales starting in April around 150. So it doesn't look like the retro pack set and these reprints are so much that it's stopping everybody from going in where they want to go in on the market, but people are choosing more unique things that are less likely to have that competition. Heck, even Change of Heart, has the quarter century secret rare, but this is the ultra rare one too. Let's actually take a look. Where is Change of Heart's Pharaoh rare? Because that was pretty hyped. I do think Ultra looks better on this specific card. Nothing but down over time. So you can see that these rarities actually do get competition, but Dark Magician and Blue Eyes are ones where people gotta catch them all and collect every single version, so I get why they're targeting these to some degree. Also, on that note, Dark Honest Collector Rare is getting bought out. Now, this is one a lot of people fought on me with when it came out. They're like, oh, $20 easily worth it. And I was like, no, and it did dip to 12 and then 8 and then 5 then 4 and just kept going down. But so many people fought me on this one in the live streams and in the comment section, and now the Collector Rare gets a buyout, where Collector Rares are the most susceptible to these Rarity collection like reprints, and I could see them putting Honest in a Rarity collection and going, you know what? Why don't we put, Twilight Sworn / Dark versions and go with Dark Honest? Like, they really did try to do something with this card, and it does have eventual potential, which is maybe also why this is getting bought out. So let me know in the comment section down below if this is seeing play in some deck right now. But the Secret Rare definitely tried to be something. It was reprinted in a lower rarity in the 10s, and nobody wants to open those 10s. And then you have a rare in Valiant Smashers that also gave the Collector Rare. So you're looking pretty much at nice versions being Secret, which it does look good in this, and then the Collector Rare. I feel like the Secrets actually probably got a better exponential ways to go up, like if it becomes 5 to 7, versus, I guess, trying to push this at 10 towards 30, so margins versus percentages, give or take what people are guessing on its potential. But Collector Rares, again, can be reprinted in a Collector Rare style, so a lot of people are a lot shakier on that. This is pushed up towards $25. But my whole point is, with these cards, people aren't scared to invest in these modern cards so much. Elemental Hero Sparkman miscellaneous promo apparently had to fill out some character sheet. At the beginning, this was a bit more. It tanked absolutely. I'm guessing stores also had their extra copies, and those went out on eBay and stuff. So it was $2 for the longest, but over the course of the last 3 months, just absolutely climbing, and it was already double versus that too. So you can see these are like headed towards $9, and max rarity hero collecting is no joke. So seeing this super rare, kind of interesting actually, and speed duel quality can be also somewhat interesting. It's OPTP though. Is that actually speed duel? I'd have to look at the card, but somebody brought this one up to me, so let me know in the comment section down below. Do you have a copy? How do you like it? And super rare Sparkman is actually pretty darn clean. 25th Anniversary Rarity Collection 2. The price of the box seems to be starting to maybe bottom out. It's towards this lean off in the graph where it's starting to come back up a little, but that would be premature to speculate on, as a lot of the recent sales are at 105 even, and you still see plenty of them here. I think a lot of people went in super deep on this, and at the 105 mark, yeah, you're looking at the $10 packs. There's 18 of them, right? So that'd be $180 MSRP. Vendors aren't paying MSRP, but at this price, I think they're losing a little bit to burn in turn, or very close to break even. I'd have to do the math, but when it comes down to it, I do think this is trying to be the bottom, as a lot of the cards are spiking in the set. A lot of the quarter century secret rares are coming up. Platinum has found unexpected success, but still, versus opening this where you're only getting 4 to 5 of the top cards, the quarter century secret rares and plats, versus the boxes that have 24 packs, and they still have to pay more for those in the EU, where you get that cleaner ratio and not the maybe gamble extra aspect of the US boxes. It is interesting to see how people look at the prices that are going up and say, still not really worth it to open. And to be fair, a lot of those prices are fluctuating a good bit. Like, look at the Platinum Secret Masquerena. It was trying to hold, people weren't listing, and now plenty of people are starting to list around 28 to 30, and it's coming down despite getting a couple of sales in the range of 30, and more than a couple actually. It's way more than I gave it credit for, and plenty of sales in that $28 range. I actually had not clicked this since like yesterday, and it's doing better than I thought sales rate wise. But when we look at the rest of the set, like, there's tons of things climbing, especially on the lower end. But what's also interesting is the quantities. People have had time to list, time to bust this open, and I think a lot less people are busting it open and are just trying to slash, burn, turn the set sealed versus, like, look at all this. And that's because of the amount of singles and the gamble that you take opening, especially the US product, but the product in general. And yeah, I get why people are scared to open, but it's starting to look like an upturn for so many cards that I wonder how the sealed will do. And this isn't the most amount of a modern sealed that was rumored to be over-ordered. Like, this is not a lot listed. So I think a lot of people are waiting to see prices and then list theirs if/when it goes up, and a lot of people aren't opening on that note either because of the MSRP barrier, and thus a lot of cards lower on quantities, up in price because the supply is gone and not repopulating as fast as the demand. When we look at actually something I rarely do and should do more on this, the best selling part, let's make sure that is best selling. There's a mix of algorithm on sales number and price, etc. Crossout Designator is super interesting to me because look at this. It's towards the bottom end of the set, right? Like the super rares where you're grabbing them. It's going back up. And it's around $3 solid and quickly goes up to $4 on the front page. So the lower end of the set is also gaining value on top of the upper end and the unexpected with the Platinum Secrets. I expect some interesting things with Rarity Collection 2, and where people are usually like, yeah, just wait 3 months, wait 2 weeks, wait X amount of time for bottoming out. This is acting a lot different than that typical advice people love to give out instead of actually viewing and looking into each and every card, especially with a set like this where it demands attention. So I find it interesting that there's so many different parts moving to this overall versus the top end being somewhat static on the very top, and that mid-range really is what's churning. Ultimate Slayer is kind of a good example of like where people will start shooting at random, in my opinion. The Prismatic Collector rare is skyrocketing. So that's kind of a funny one to me. But it's an example that a lot of mid-maxes in here over time can perform well. Use Rarity Collection 1 as that dipstick of what can happen even if the set's not as hype for the singles themselves. And also then detract that people aren't opening the sealed as much as Rarity Collection 1. That's seriously not happening because of the MSRP into it and people having to spend more to go into it. Transmigration Prophecy is interesting. By the way, if I seem to be segmenting weird, I have a bit of lockjaw, so yeah, I'm having to pause and a little bit of pain. Transmigration Prophecy Ultimate Rare is up for Edison format. People are arguing this as better versus Vayu and Blackwing than DD Crow and going back and forth there on being able to do more against Blackwing. And since it has some tops, it is in recent history, not in the past, but I would guess this was played in the format too. It is getting full buyout mode and attention, and you can see the sales there. Light play even going at $40. So tons of pressure and attention on this. Look at all those sales. Oh my gosh. I hadn't clicked that yet. Union Hanger Secret Rares are actually hanging in there, up in price for the secret rares, and this is again for the new XYZ Dragon Cannon update to the deck from the OCG, and there's some crazy combos, so it is getting casual attention / anime attention, and now degenerate combo attention from people just doing the craziest stuff and FTK OTKing with it. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince is seeing some play in Salomon Great, and with that, the super rare has been consistently going up, and now is really up there towards $15. Do be aware this has an OTS common, however, that is also spiking, but you can still get this under $2, but with the quantities going, if you're in the market for this card, think you might want access to Salad, you might want to get that sooner than later using the TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. And then finally, Destiny Hero Dystopia. Are we in a dystopian future? This card has gone up a lot recently over this last month. Let me know in the comment section if you know why. I know heroes have been getting buyouts here and there. Never bet against heroes, but this has especially been going up here. Does Dystopia, one second, Destiny Hero Dystopia. I'm wondering if it has multiple versions yet. Yes, it does. It has a common out of the legendary hero decks. I was like, I remember this getting a low rarity reprint, so you can get easy access to it, but max rarity hero doing some max rarity hero things, but Destiny hero usually doesn't get as much attention. Let me know why this is going, if it's just like trying to make heroes compete, or if it's seeing play as an engine in something. I do know, people celebrating malicious, that kind of stuff, but when it comes down to it, it is going. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversation. And see ya soon. I would assume next week, but I might have a video tomorrow.